Welcome back, friends. So today marks 65 times around the sun for me, and wowee. So it's an age where societally it's like, well, time to retire, and but that's more of an older concept. I believe that's really beginning to die out, and thank goodness. But I'm doing anything but retiring, and I've sort of declaring a new vision for my own life. I'm a life coach and love doing that. And I do ask when uh, I do ask when I work with people that they clarify goals and they declare where they're going and they aim their sails. So for today's little talk, short little talk, I'm just gonna make a video recording of a declaration, and it's really the next chapter of my life. Because in 5 years, I'm going to be 70. Duh. See how good my math skills are getting? But when I'm set 70, I'm going to be at a particular place. And so what am I going to do in the meantime? So the goal, the objective, the intention, the aim is a whole plan called Older Dog, New Tricks. And it's going to be about learning a lot of stuff that I didn't learn earlier in life that has left a big dent in my soul. It's not as though I don't have a rich and full and brilliant life. I love my life. It's a miracle where I am. And yet there's still, there's always way more out in front of us than there is behind us. And the way that I grew up, I didn't grow up with very much mentorship, and I grew up in familial alcoholism, and my father split, blah, 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 the story. It's like, I'm not into telling that story, but it left an effect, and I didn't really learn how to learn, and I didn't have a lot of belief in myself. So um, older dog, new tricks. And so everyone in my family is a late bloomer. I'm actually thinking of coming up with a line of underwear for mature people called late bloomers. What do you think? So anyway, the I got sober at age 43, which is, it's like a good deal of life has gone by, and I'd run my life completely into the ground and, had no career or really hopes for one at that point. But around the age of 45, decided to become a yoga instructor. And so, that's been a really good journey. And I built a healthy, sufficient career around being a yoga teacher, my yoga studio. Also, life coaching, I consider to be the crown jewel of my life. Of the things that I'm good at, I consider myself to be an expert life coach. It's the one thing I'm willing to brag about. And I've got a good clientele and it's expanding. But if I'm going to life coach other people, it's good that I'm always learning something new. And so the 22 years of sobriety now, I built my life to this point. And so at 65, am I going to retire? No, I'm not. So this is what I'm aiming myself at for the next 5 years. These are all things that I don't know how to do, or I'm extremely beginner at. Guitar, keyboard, pianos, drums, being able to read music and music theory, publish multiple books, finish my degree. I just got back into CSU today, 1 year to get a bachelor's, and then complete a master's in the next 5 years. A really thriving, large and prosperous YouTube page, get a pilot's license. That means facing my biggest fear of flying, but my good buddy is a pilot and he can teach me how to fly. Expert film editor, finally learned Photoshop. I'm starting a nonprofit where I'm at this with the women's shelter that I help oversee, and grow that into a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. Financial acumen, independence. I've never really learned the financial world, so investing, that sort of thing. Animation, my recovery message, the story that I have about my recovery life and what I've learned and turning a life around. Feeling better, fantastic in my body at the age of 70. And I can really claim that at the age of 65, especially after losing 45 pounds in the last 14 months. Being a scratch golfer and travel the world with my message. So that's a lot to bite off, isn't it? So part of what I'm going to do is I'm going to record and document this whole process and turn it into a documentary, and also part of my YouTube page called Older Dog, New Tricks, and just follow myself as I hire mentors and coaches in all these different areas. I currently have 5 different coaches, but I'd like to bump it up to about 10 different coaches and really surgically target my day to spend, a half an hour to 45 minutes learning all these different things, but also build in sufficient self-care, nurturing, and a real harboring of patience, and not getting ahead of myself and not torturing myself, but being real content as I go through the frustration, the aggravation, the tragedies, the triumphs of a project like this, and to keep my sense of peace all the way through it. And then to document it and to make it my theme for my YouTube page, which currently has 15 subscribers. But in 5 years, I'd like it to have 1 million subscribers. And I'd like to have a very large podcast and interview some of the most powerful people in the world, and tell my story and listen to other people's stories and listen to your stories as well. So that's it. Say a prayer for me. Thanks for aligning with my vision. And what's your vision? If you ever want a life coach with me, you're not only dealing with somebody who's an expert life coach, but is deeply in the game of expanding and finding ways to do the things that he's always wanted to do. And so I'm gonna walk my walk and talk my talk. So anyway, I got it on film now. I've documented it. Now I have to do it. So have a beautiful day, and tomorrow we'll gather in our little tribe and we'll talk about all of this and anything and everything else. Happy rebirth day, everybody.